Welcome into the pregame show here on the finely manicured turf of Bello Field for the non-conference matchup of the year here between the Tufts Jumbos and the Babson Beavers. 2 years ago, Babson came to Bello at the low of the Kyle Desatel era with the Jumbos out of the rankings entirely. Today, they come facing off against the number 2 team in the country who, with a potential 2-win week, could go top of the nation. We're just minutes from kickoff, and I'm here alongside Micah Baum and Jake Flossie to bring you everything you need to know about this matchup. And Jake, I'll start with you. What do we need to know about this Babson team that is still unbeaten but is moving consistently up in the rankings every week?
This Beavers team comes in ranked number 12 in the nation in the most recent poll. They are 4 wins, 0 losses, and 5 draws. So notable games this season, they started off with a sort of shaky 0-0 draw against St. Joseph's, who are currently 3-5-1 on the season. Not the best team. They came in, took 31 shots, did not convert a single one in a 0-0 draw. Unfortunate one for them, but they rebounded right after that really well, taking on then number 12 Montclair State, who are now up to number 8 in the nation, defeating them 2-1 with a pretty strong performance, scoring 2 goals in 2 minutes from Donaldson. And finally, they recently took on one of the best teams in SCAC, Amherst College, and they got a nice 1-1 draw with 2 goals coming after the 80th minute. So they're coming in looking pretty strong. They just defeated Brandeis a few days ago, 2-0, and a pretty strong win. And for this game, a couple things I'm looking at. They've scored a lot of late goals. They have scored 4 games this season where there's been a deciding late goal. They got a 1-1 draw against WPI with an 88th minute equalizer. They had a 1-1 draw versus Gordon, where Gordon got an 87th minute equalizer. They had a 1-0 win versus Western at New England University with an 87th minute winner for Babson. And then their draw against Amherst, as I mentioned, both goals were after the 80th minute.
So no lead is safe in a Babson game.
Yeah, so this game, no matter what's going on, keep an eye for some late theatrics. Should be interesting. Alongside that, they come in with a very strong defensive record. They have .56 goals allowed per game, which is currently top of the NUMAC. And that sounds very impressive, but that would actually put them 6th in the NESCAC. And the Tufts Jumbos come in with an even stronger .38 goals per game. So should be a really defensive showdown. The Amherst Beavers have not allowed more than 3 goals in a game since the NCAA tournament last year, where they had a thriller 4-3 loss to the Johns Hopkins squad. And I don't expect to see many goals today.
That seems like a fair assessment. I think, Micah, one of those reasons why that's such a fair assessment is the absolute defensive dominance we've seen from the Jumbos through the first 8 games of the season.
It really has been, and I think the Jumbos are yet to trail on the year. Babson not doing too shabby on that mark either. They've only trailed for 28 minutes, but compared to 0, it is a big difference. And the Jumbos have just been so stalwart defensively. Nick Antich has been huge in goal, as has all the people stepping up in defense. On the other end of the field, it is a different story, however. Tufts are back up to the mark that they were last year in terms of scoring 2 goals per game. But that is in large part thanks to those 4 goals they scored this past weekend against Wesleyan. The first time they've scored 3 goals in the first half since Colby a year ago yesterday. That is a big mark. As they have struggled to get going offensively, they have started to go. They've scored 4 in their last 2 conference games against Hamilton and Wesleyan, but still no one on this team has more than double-digit shots total. Yanez leads the team with 9 shots on goal. He only has 1 goal converted. That was a penalty. Whereas the main man leading the line for the Jumbos, Mikey Brady, is currently on a 16-game goal drought. Feigen managed to put an end to his goal drought, which was 19 games, I believe, going into that Wesleyan game. He scored 2, putting one of the best goals you'll see all season. But it's been a really up and down year for the Jumbos up front, and they're really trying to close things up and make sure they can finish out those chances. Especially against a defense like this, Babson are so strong on the defensive end, and in large part due to Walker White. He is reigning NUMAC Defensive Player of the Year. He was USC All-Region first team. He is a stalwart presence in the Beavers' goal. He's played every minute so far this season. He'll break 4,500 minutes tonight if he gets to the 30-minute mark as a Babson player. He's only allowed 35 goals in 52 appearances. Career save percentage of 84%. He was NUMAC Defensive Player of the Week 2 weeks ago, and he's currently 4th in Babson's all-time charts for goals allowed per game with just .7. That is absurd numbers for a goalie at this level. And sitting in front of him is another huge part of this Babson defense, Liam Goldstein, also a huge part of their offense, scored 2 goals this year, including, as you mentioned, that 89th minute equalizer against WPI from a corner. He scored the second goal against Brandeis from a corner. He scored 1 more goal in his career last year versus Montclair State. Guess where it was from?
A corner?
And I know it's a shocker, but he's going to be an interesting one to look out for at these set pieces for the Beavers. He has 8 shots on goal as a center back, joint second on the team, not something you expect to see, but he also racks up a NUMAC Defensive Player of the Week, which was sent out yesterday, and he was well-deserved after those performances against Amherst and Brandeis. And ahead of him, James Donaldson. It's going to be interesting. Donaldson and Yanez, 2 midfielders, ostensibly, but both very much the attacking linchpins for their teams in terms of shot-taking. Donaldson currently sitting on 25 shots already. That is several more than any Tufts player. 8th in the NUMAC, 13 shots on goal. As we say, no Tufts player has double digits. He has 6 points so far, 2 goals and 2 assists. He only scores in 2s. He has 11 career goals, and 10 of those have come in braces. It is a bizarre record, but if you see him score 1 tonight, expect him to score another.
Well, that's a great stat to have. And on the other side, Jake, for the Jumbos, who do you have your eye on? Because they're not going to get a ton of chances tonight, so who's going to step up and have that moment of brilliance?
There's a few players who I can see that moment of brilliance coming from. As Micah mentioned, Ethan Feigen has come off of a bit of a drought, hadn't scored in 19 games, but had a great brace last time out against Weston, including a phenomenal run where he beat several men and scored an impressive goal. So if you need a breakdown defense, having a tricky player like Feigen can be really helpful. Alongside that, Liam Gherkin has really had a resurgence in this Jumbos team, coming in very strong on 3 goals and 3 assists, leading the team in points. He was NESCAC Player of the Week last week and has been a very talented member of this squad, getting a lot of those kind of scrappy goals that you need in positions where you're facing a defense that is powerful as Babson's. And finally, I feel like we can't talk about Walker White and not talk about Nick Ontich. Nick Ontich is a phenomenal goalkeeper, came in last year from Northeastern as a transfer and has been a phenomenal member of the squad, put up very strong performances in several games, had I believe 6 saves in that game against Salem State, I believe, and a very, very talented goalkeeper. Alongside that, one more player, Bijan Atrazandi Das, has set himself as a key player of this Jumbos team. Last year as a first year, he got a good amount of minutes, but this year he's really shown that he needs to be in that team sheet no matter where you can put him. He's played an 8, he's played a 6, he's played that center back spot, so expect to see him in the lineup somewhere today.
Well, we are running out of time rapidly before the opening kickoff, but just enough time left to get your score prediction, boys. We'll start with you, Jake.
I'm going to go conservative here. 2 0-0 draws in the last 2 matchups. 7 halves in a row without a goal scored outside of an overtime period in 2021. So I don't see any way this doesn't end 0-0, unfortunately.
Micah, how about you?
I'm going to go a bit more radical. I think I would have said this would be a 1-0 win for Tufts. They're coming into this one with a bit of newfound confidence in attack, and Babson are really struggling up front. However, Babson have only lost 1 game 1-0 over the past 2 seasons. That was to Stevenson last year. So I'm left with no other choice but to go 2-1 to Tufts.
See, I feel like you guys are both on the right track, but it feels inevitable that this game is going to be tied going into at least the 85th minute. But I feel like there's something special about this year's Tufts team. Give me the Jumbos in a 1-0 win with a goal scored in the last 5. Make sure to find out exactly what happens. We're about moments from kickoff. Stay tuned here on JumboCast. Welcome back here to Bello Field. It is October now, and there's just that little bit of excitement when you know two NCAA tournament caliber teams are here to square off on Bello. Jake, I'll go right to you. We were just watching the pregame show. You had mentioned two midfielders you were looking at. One in James Donaldson, one in Daniel Yanez, neither in the starting lineups tonight. What are your thoughts on those coaching decisions?
I think it's an interesting call. I'm surprised more, honestly, at Donaldson. We've seen Tufts run without Yanez last week against Wesleyan, and they seem to be running a 4 midfielder setup this week, which should be interesting to watch. Having Gherkin more at that 10 role, which Yanez often occupies. Having Artarzani-Das and Penske presumably in that kind of double 8 role. And then behind them, having Gunn at the 6. Should be interesting to see. They'll definitely pack the middle. The downside of that is they do lose a little bit of that width they get. But having fullbacks the caliber of Bargania and Denby who really can go forward and cause damage, you can see the thought process behind it. You lose the width from the wingers, but you do have those attacking fullbacks.
And I guess then, Micah, I'll ask you the other correlation of that decision. You got two out-and-out forwards. One who's Mikey Brady, your traditional forward. The other is Ethan Jett. What's your thought in him playing as a 9?
It's going to be an interesting one. I think it's a challenge. We've seen them go with a front two once before in that Con College game. I think they started out with Brady and Feigen up top as their front two. Jett is getting the call today for the moment, so it'll be really interesting. He's a natural winger, but I say that. If you'd asked me this last year, I would have said he's a natural fullback. He is one of the most versatile players on the Tufts team. He can really play anywhere on the pitch. Clearly Desautel trusts him to help lead the line.
And speaking of versatile players, Bijan Artarzani-Das is also starting, presumably in that 8 role. And to clarify, Penske is not playing the 8. I imagine he's Gherkin alongside him with Feigen at that 10. So that should be interesting to watch.
Yeah, definitely a lot of questions, and I think really it does speak to the versatility of this team. You got 19 guys already who have played more than 200 minutes in this season, so a very deep bench for Kyle Desautel to take advantage of, especially with a relatively easier matchup against Trinity at the weekend.
And for this Babson team, I'm curious to see who scores the goals, who steps up. They've struggled to get goals this season, and they lost 3 players who were a big part of their goal-scoring system last year, including Gaza, who had 5 goals.
And we are underway here from Bello, and it'll come all the way through to Max Clivio, who going to play Route 1 soccer. That one hangs in the air. Down goes Artarzani-Das. And on it right away here is Finch, as it'll pop back now to Mackenzie Pierre. And the Beavers look to get settled in the offensive half for half a sec. Switch to the near side. Kalishman try to flick it on, and Bargania will collect on the left wing and cut inside. Through ball looking for Jett, too much on that.
It seems earlier like the Jumbos have settled more into their traditional format with Feigen and Jett on the wings and the 3 midfielders. Or maybe it's like sort of 2 central forwards behind them, so it's not quite the system we were expecting. They seem to be playing just Brady up top.
Yeah, that is definitely something to note. Also interesting to note how Gunn did not really come at all up offensively, almost playing as if it's 5 at the back. That one, all sorts of chaos in the midfield, and eventually it'll pop wide for the Beavers. Pierre tried to play it, picked off by Ethan Jett. He'll look to send one long and finds the out-of-bounds wall.
I think on Gunn and Artarzani-Das, you mentioned Gunn stepping so far back, but when you have 2 players who are capable of playing either as an 8 or as a 6, they can really just mix and match, and that gives you so much versatility as long as they know what they're doing and who's doing which, and no one leaves their space completely open.
Jett with the press. Nice turn here from Modiano. That one undercut. Bargania's going to take it out and then get taken out, and that's going to be a free kick.
I love the intensity from the Jumbos there. We saw Artarzani-Das running at the Babson defense, getting in their faces, not fouling them, but just getting a lot of pressure. And then Bargania there cutting in front. It's a really effective press when players can't figure out really any escape route.
Gherkin, who has been the set-piece wizard so far this year, going to take this one. Has Feigen left. No one marking him whatsoever. Plays short to Jett, who might have a hit here. Jett takes it, deflects into the box. Second ball bouncing out. And it's going to be, I believe, an offside call against the Jumbos.
Chaos in the box there. A lot of stuff going on. Not much really to figure out as Jet's ball in was deflected and just chaos there.
Between the lines here to Fidrick.
It's worth noting Jumbos have lined up with Bargani on the left this time, Demby on the right. They've done this, I think, once before in the season. Otherwise, Demby has been the natural left back.
Pierre now tries to cut back. Flicked on lovely by Feigen. Mikey Brady will collect. Tried to switch to Jet. And Babson just boots it up. Up high and coming down hard was Gunn. As the Beavers go up the left wing. Time and space now for Abe. But he can't get past the second line. And Mikey Brady's going to go chase on Goldstein. And that is an offside flag against Brady, who did not like it.
Jumbo's already on 2 offsides so far this game. Last year they led the NESCAC in offsides. This year they are somewhat middle of the pack, but another 2 added on there.
Well, that might be something you have to do tonight because of the way these teams are playing so far back defensively. That one flicked a little bit forward. Feigen gets enough of an influence to force it back. Shanked there by Bargania. The ball spinning all over the turf here at Bello, and a lovely touch there by Modiano, who will look to go. Wide to Abe. Lovely little flick on for Lloyd. Time and space now for Kalishman. He'll switch it back looking for Abe, but too much curve.
We're already seeing quite the physical game as players are really getting onto each other, getting a lot of pressure, so won't be surprised if we see a good amount of fouls in this one.
Interesting for Babson is Abe's playing very far forward. We had seen him listed as this one's going through Brady, but
and he's offsides again.
But Abe listed as a defender, playing more as a left winger right now, and he's had some bright moments already in just his first 5 minutes.
Yeah, he's got great footwork, does Abe.
He is a D1 player. Over 30 appearances for University of Maryland.
One of several grad students who have been D1 players before coming to Babson. Lloyd with a lovely flick on for Pierce, who will cut inside. 2 coming behind. Pierce will dump it off into space for Linden Way. 1v1 against Jet. And the sophomore turns him back. Time and space now for Cerezo. Loose touch from Pierce. Feigen couldn't quite get to it. Kalishman will keep it in here on the near side. 2v1. Kalishman into the edge of the box. And then gave it right away. And now Feigen can look to go. Brady comes back to collect. Ashkar Tanidas in some trouble. Gets it ahead to Feigen. And Ashkar Tanidas will switch the field there to Owen Denby.
Neither team giving either side any space to breathe. High press from both squads. Really fun to watch.
Ethan Jett trying to dribble around everyone. Ashkar Tanidas sends it right back from where it came. Lovely flick on. Can Denby get to it? The answer is not quite.
And Riley, you're mentioning earlier how this Babson squad has several grad students. They also have Tyler Fidrich, who is a grad student transfer from the University of Connecticut. And this is a pattern for the program as well. They had 2 players who graduated last year who were grad student transfers from the University of Vermont and the University of Massachusetts. So they're no strangers to those D1 grad student transfers, really bolstering the roster.
A little bit of indecision there. That one's in the box, and off his line is Walker White.
From a squad that's been so solid defensively, it's not a mix-up you expect to see. And Feigen nearly pounced on it. Walker White, again, as we say, one of the best goalkeepers in New England. Wasn't going to let an opportunity like that come to pass.
Yeah, and you see the assertiveness to just come out of his box and claim it. A lesser keeper may have thought about it a bit more, but White really strongly comes out, claims the ball. It's his.
And another little miscommunication there. Nice touch from Goldstein, but that gets away from him. Brady tried to collect, and Goldstein atones for his error.
That's why he's NUMAC Defensive Player of the Week right there. He's really been a stalwart presence for the Beavers on the back line, just a sophomore.
Speaking of his stalwart presence, Taylor Feinberg there stepping in really nicely to get the ball back for the Jumbos.
And a lot of contact. Great challenge there from Lloyd. Second ball cannot get past the Jumbo's back line. Clivio with all sorts of time. Babson basically dropping off to the midfield.
They're content to let the Jumbo center backs pass it back and forth. The question is how do they break it down? They're missing that midfielder like Villanes who can really come in and have those more disruptive plays, but look toward Feigen or Bargania as we see here.
Good call, as it is Bargania here on the edge of the box. Cuts onto his right. Gets taken down. That's going to be a free kick right outside the box.
And Bargania is one of those players who can cause issues for defense. He is not afraid to take on his man and does it right there excellently, makes it around, wins the foul. Strong work there from Mateo Bargania.
That's a decision from Desautels paying off, putting the right footer onto this left-hand side, allowing him to cut in. You could see how taken aback the Babson defender was. Just couldn't do anything but foul.
And a warning to Sam Kalishman, who was disputing that one.
He'll be lucky that that ball is just outside the 18-yard box. A step or two further from Bargania, and we'd be seeing a penalty kick.
Interesting to see what the Jumbos do here. Feigen can hit from here, but Gherkin looks like he's prepping to send this one across the 6.
They've got players like Clivio and Octozani Dawson there.
Gherkin to take, whips it back post, and headed away by Kalishman. Down goes Brady. That ball, I don't think, left the field of play, and it'll be a Jumbo's corner.
Speaking of Jumbo's aerial targets they'll look for, they've got Bijan Octozani, they've got Max Clivio, they've got Mikey Brady, they've got James Gunn, all big players who can really be a presence in the box. Yet the Jumbos have only scored 1 goal directly off a corner this season, so they'll be hoping to get another one of those right here.
Gherkin to take. Stack play on, outswinger, finds a free head on target, and White collects.
It's Bargania again. He scored a headed goal from a corner against Newmac rivals Emerson. He's trying to replicate it there, but just couldn't get the height, or at least there's too much height on the delivery. Couldn't get the power on it to get it past White.
But a little bit of a lapse there from Babson. Both Bargania and Clivio unmarked there outside the 6 as Kalishman switches the field to Abe. Or excuse me, to Linden Way. Time and space now for Lloyd. 1-2 with Abe, cut out beautifully. And the Jumbos have runners ahead. Liam Gherkin has Brady to his left as well as Feigen. And decides to turn back. A little bit of space now for Denby. Jet picks his head up. Looks to switch. No one really there. And that's a turnover.
Wouldn't be a welcome to Medford occasion without a light drizzle.
I want to highlight Goldstein there in that last attack. The main rule of being a defender on a breakaway is slow the man down, and he did an excellent job getting in the way, getting in Gherkin's face, and making sure he couldn't go forward. Really well done from the Newmac Defensive Player of the Week.
Here is James Gunn on it, as the Jumbos really hounding with that press in the first 10 minutes. Clivio, all sorts of space, has Bargania in about 10 yards of space to his left, but he'll just keep on going. Deflected all the way through to Goldstein, who will look to send a runner. That one ahead. Taken down by Yablonski. And off of him by Clivio and Feigen, like he was a JV player.
And Clivio from those spaces is not afraid to take a shot. He actually recorded 5 shots in that game in Salem State, which is tied for 3rd in the MESCAC for most shots in a game. So he can take a shot from far. Sometimes it'll give it a go.
Especially against the low block.
Feigen comes to collect. We've seen what he can do from that spot. Here's Bargania now. Looks to switch one through. Doesn't get through. And coming the other way now are the Beavers, or they were until Taylor Feinberg said no.
The second time Feinberg has stepped in and just shut down a Beavers attack. Really strong work there from the captain.
Long throw. Does get through here to Yablonski. Feinberg sends it back where it came from, and it'll be a Jumbo's throw.
As we approach 15 minutes in, it's not really surprised only 1 shot so far in this game between these two defensive powerhouses.
It's looking pretty solid for my 0-0 prediction here.
It's going to take a bit more to break down.
That one stood up. Goldstein does enough, but can't quite avoid conceding another throw. And this is a spot where you'd love to have Ben Brown in the game.
They're not going to send Mateo Bargagna all the way across the field to take this long throw, as he also, alongside Ben Brown, has the option to send the ball into the box from out there.
Speaking of Bargagna, he has about 20 yards of space if they switch the field. Instead, they try and send it back from where it came. Jet's going to get on the end of that one. Towards the byline now. Whips it hard and low and sent out for a throw, and this time Bargagna will come across.
They've decided it's just close enough that they can send up those center backs. You can hear them calling for Jet to come back.
And that's that positional versatility you mentioned, Jake. Jet can easily slot into that wing-back role to cover for Bargagna while he takes the throw. Seven in the box for the Bows. All the way in. Deflected on and over. That'll be a corner.
It really is a weapon. They haven't scored from Bargagna's throw this year. They scored one from Ben Brown's throw, and that was actually Henry Perkins, not in the game right now. But even so, it's just such a weapon, and it makes the defenders backpedal, gets them on their toes, just gives them that shot of adrenaline. You hope that they'll make the mistake.
It's basically another corner kick, and that's really powerful to have.
It is. Here is an actual corner kick. Durkin has Feigen short. Not going to use him. Hard and low. Flicked on by Clivio just wide. Brady keeps it in and then loses control.
As James Gunn actually sneaking in at the front post, tried to just get the flick on, hoping someone at the back post would reach it. Unfortunately, no one in the area for the Jumbos, but Babson will be happy that they didn't let that one get anywhere near the frame of the goal, relatively speaking.
Cerezo wide now. Callisman under some pressure, and a lovely work there from Fidrick. Loose ball and a lovely slide tackle from Bargagna to cut that one out.
That was vital, because if that was not cut out, Mackenzie Pierre had acres of space in front of him. If the ball had gone through, wouldn't be surprised if we saw the Beavers getting up on that score sheet. So really important tackle there from Mateo Bargagna.
And Bargagna putting in the work early on here, getting up on every attack, down every defensive possession, as that one switched beautifully to the chest of Jet.
That's something Clivio really brings you. He has those long balls in his arsenal and really able to utilize them well.
And now he whips it wide to Bargagna. Inside Feigen, gets it right back. Feigen, hard and low, does not get through the line. All the way out to deal with that is Gunn. 50-50 ball. Ref says play on. Jet with Denby on the overlap. Will cut inside. Stood up for him. And he's going to get in behind here is Ethan Jet. But a great job sliding his body back was Abe.
Fantastic work there by Abe. It was such a creative ball to put Jet through. And Abe really had his hands full trying to keep the Tufts attacker off him. But it was really well done just to shepherd him away from that ball. Make sure it went out. That is something you expect from a D1 quality player.
And time and again, the Jumbos seemingly confusing the Beavers with this press right now.
Just noticing the way the Beavers are playing, they seem to really want to send out those forward players. Your Yabelinski or your Pierres, get them into space and send long balls toward them. Or sorry, quick passes and then send them through. They're making runs consistently, not being found, but really opening up into space.
Abe gets taken out there, advantage being played. Gets it back inside now. Around another. Lays it off, and a loose touch is going to allow Max Clivio to intercede. Callisman switches it back. That one picked off by Denby, and the Beavers are a little exposed. And he'll send one long, looking for Brady to run onto it. White might have to deal with it because Brady's going to win that race. Cerezo puts it back into his own box, but they'll get it wide to Goldstein.
Mikey Brady putting a ton of hustle here, running all the way across the field to continue the press.
Philip Finch to check in at the next whistle for the Beavers. As this one opens for Cerezo, who gave it right away to Feigen, but returned the favor with a gorgeous slide tackle.
Feigen does well to keep the ball with the Jumbos. Drop the ball, reset the possession, and the Jumbos get back on the attack.
Here they come again. Denby whips it low, And headed away by Goldstein, who has been everywhere in the first 20 minutes. Out will come Pierce, in will come Finch.
Drizzle has stopped, thankfully. Spared the bellow reins for the moment.
I'm sure it'll come back.
Well, now that you said it, that's
I know,
a guarantee. Jumbo's playing a little bit fast and loose.
If Jake had said it, then we might be in trouble.
Yeah.
It's going to be a throw for the Beavers out in the corner. They're not going to send up the team. Going to choose to possess it and send the cross in.
Does not get very far as Gunn redirects it. That one back. Going to put Cerezo under a little bit of pressure.
We will see Donaldson coming in soon, so another offensive weapon for the Beavers coming on.
And Bargania sends that one out. Donaldson looks to be being summoned by the referee. I don't think he was quite ready to come in. And now will come in to replace Modiano.
Donaldson's just such a key part of this attack, even as a midfielder for the Beavers. As you say, leads the team in shots, shots on goal, joint leads the team in goals, and leads them in points as well.
A little bit of headed volleyball being played before another Jumbo's throw. And a little bit of the first signs of frustration from the Jumbos here in the body language of Ethan Feigen with this throw.
It's a bit of confusion. Barganiev wants to take the long throw, eventually gets to do so.
And a great job by Kalisman to get an intervention. Gunn sends that one forward. A little bit of a loose touch there, and Brady will go chase. And really, really smart from Kalisman not to try and play that ball.
That is one thing about this formation for the Jumbos is that Brady's looking a bit isolated up top. Usually with their 4-3-3, you have the wingers pushed up much higher, but in this scenario, they have really just left Brady to do a lot on his own, especially when they're transitioning from back to front.
Well, that is unfortunate for Babson, but what it does do is set up an opportunity for the Jumbos with another free kick in what is probably an ideal spot to whip an in-swinger.
You say Gherkin has really been impressive from these set pieces. It was Yana's last year, but the Gradston has really stepped up from these dead ball situations.
He's got Feigen right on him, too. Won't be surprised if we see a run from Feigen into the box here.
Here it comes. Gherkin whips one towards the back post, and it wouldn't have counted anyway as Bargania was offside. But the Jumbo's got to be careful because Abe is coming the other way. Donaldson on it for his first touch of the day.
Got Xavier Campen ready to come in for the Jumbos. 2 goals in his last 3 games.
And
Dangerous
that's
weapon
a late challenge. That's the second of those that Ethan Jett has collected. And the physicality only ramping up.
He's already picked up an injury earlier in the year. Thankfully, looks to be okay for the moment.
Clivio, once again with all sorts of time and space.
Yeah, Beavers are definitely not applying the same intensity of press that the Jumbos have been. They're content to more sit back, let the Jumbos come at them, let them try to break them down.
Clivio tried to play that one through for Ashkar Tani Das, but it was cut out at the first line. A little bit of a loose touch, and White able to just send it up, but Gunn's going to win that race. Second ball will come through to Feiberg. And it'll be distributed here to Jet.
And we discussed earlier the fact that the Jumbos have 2 players who can play 6 or who are in the midfield right now, but we've really seen Gunn settle in as that 6. Attribution Das playing a little bit further up, getting it a bit more into advanced positions.
Feigen inside to Brady on his left foot. Brady with a shot on his right, and saved by White.
First big opportunity for either team, you'd have to say. Falls to Mikey Brady. Not necessarily the man in form, but manages to get it on frame, just not tight enough into those corners. Walker White saw that one all the way.
I will say from my angle, that looked like that was going in. The way the ball was bouncing, it was hard to see the gloves of White, so good chance there for the Jumbos.
Best chance so far And Mikey Brady a matter of inches from breaking that 16-game scoreless streak. As the Beavers will once again look to build from the back. But they got to be careful because that's not the first time they've given the ball away when trying to build out of the back, and they might have just done it again. Brady, all sorts of space. Gherkin, through ball to Feigen, picks his head up, across, and finish. Oh, what a save. He had no right to that ball, but White did not care.
That is what Walker White does. He's been so prolific in goal for the Beavers. Attribution I thought was going to take that. He dummied it, left it for Brady. He just tried to side foot it into the near corner, but Walker White was already guessing that way. He knew exactly what Mikey Brady wanted to do, read it the entire way.
An All-American quality save for an All-American contender. But the Jumbos offense seems to have woken up in the last 2 or 3 minutes.
We got to give props to the press from the Jumbos there. They turned on a dime. They saw a slightly off pass and jumped on it. 4 players running forward, getting the ball, getting a good attack going. If they can keep doing that, it's going to be hard for the Babson Beavers to really keep them out of this game.
Time and space here, and a dangerous challenge there from Brady will relieve some of the pressure. And that one overhit. A little too much juice on that from Cerezo. And Brady, after those 2 chances, right as he's starting to get his chances, he's going to take a seat. Xavier Camping going to come in.
It's an unfortunate one, but Xavier Campin is also the man in form, as you say, 2 goals in last 3 games. He has yet to make a goal involvement outside of the NESCAC, which is not necessarily a bad thing.
Well, he might have one right now because he's in behind. Canfin, on frame, whips it across, and that'll be a corner.
That is the threat he brings. He's such a direct runner in behind. He's always looking to make that run off the shoulder of the last defender. He's done it so many times so far, gotten several goals out of it. Joint leads the team in terms of goals with 3, almost getting an assist there.
And got to give props to the Beavers player. They're tracking back, able to make the defensive play to prevent Campbell from getting that ball squared. Because it's really hard as a goalkeeper when the ball is squared across from the byline to react to essentially an open goal shot.
Gherkin's outswinger finds another head, bouncing around, and once again, White the first to react.
I think White's name is going to be mentioned a lot today. He's been playing excellently so far. Expect to see a lot more from him.
That one played beautifully down the line into space, but unable to stay in was Jablonski. Bargania might have gotten away with some extracurricular contact. And Babson coach John Anderson he's going to let the referee know while the substitutions are going on the field, we made one of our own. On to welcome to the broadcast. You've been watching from field level for the last 25 minutes. What have you seen that we might have missed?
Yeah, I mean, you guys have been saying the right things. A lot of press, definitely from the Jumbos. I would expect to see maybe Babson press as well. If they're not going to, they don't want to be stuck in a middle zone where they're sinking back, being content with the defense, but then turning it over in the midfield. So we'll see maybe some changes in the second half with that.
Definitely something to consider.
Interesting combination do they have where they sit so deep and yet at the same time try to play out of the back. It's not a combination you see either high pressing or they go all out.
Yeah, as we obviously continue to watch this, it's definitely a point worth knowing as you look. It's seemingly one-way football right now. The Jumbos kind of doing what they want, at least in terms of possession, and Babson only really having chances on the counter. And as I say that, Babson proceeded to possess the ball. Ben Verner warming up vigorously on the touchline to come in at the next whistle. And Ethan Feigen's going to give him a whistle, but not one he can come in on. Callisman looks set to take this free kick. And the voice from John Anderson is only getting louder. Campbell going to come in as well. He'll come in for Owen Denby as Callisman sends that one across towards the outside of the box. Up to deal with it is Oscar Tanidas. Lovely headed ball. Abe will keep it in play, but not the second ball, as that one goes through the rugby goalpost.
Babson's looking to press up a little more, being a little more aggressive on those free kicks.
Still have yet to record a shot, so those set pieces are really one of their biggest opportunities. Just couldn't get anything solid with the very wide delivery there from Kalishman.
Jet and Denby out, and into the game, Ben Werner up top, and Campbell, as we mentioned, for Denby. Still have not seen Daniel Yanez. Clivio now going to be pressed for the first time in a long time.
Tufts suddenly are pressing their wingers much higher than they were. Feigen and Werner really trying to stretch the back line of the Beavers.
I'm wondering if either Campbell or maybe Canfin got some instructions from the bench about a formation change when they came in.
Canfin's now playing very much as the lone striker.
That one sent up for him. Might be Feigen instead. And back across. White had to deal with it with his feet, which he did. Gunn takes it down. And coming hard. And Babson just going to send it up. It'll work there. Finds Yabelinski. Beautifully played wide from Donaldson. Abe picks his head up. Through ball cut out by Feinberg. Campbell goes up to collect. Loose touch. And Canfin just picks it off of Abe. Jumbo's bench not happy. They thought he took a dive. Late challenge from Campbell. It'll be a corner, but maybe a little too dicey.
Really interesting one there, as that was way just gliding forward. Campbell had a lot to deal with there. Just couldn't get it cleanly. I think he'll be breathing a very big sigh of relief that he didn't get called for something.
It'll be Liam Radigan and Ted Rosenfeld to come in, as out will be Yablonski as well as Friedrich.
Ted Rosenfeld is going to be an interesting one to watch. He only has one career goal involvement, and that was a game-winning goal against Amherst with 5 seconds left on the clock last year.
Yeah, we'll see if this is just a strategic sub right here with this corner, but I definitely think Babson was picking up on some of these tough subs and maybe change of formation.
That one's still bouncing around, and eventually Ontich claims it on the goal mouth.
That will probably go down as the first shot for Babson on the night. Tufts sitting on 5 right now.
And once again, the Jumbos content to build from the back. Danny Yanez coming to midfield. He'll come in at the next whistle. Feinberg, as it seems as if Babson switched to 2 up top to maybe bring a bit of a press. And Ontich didn't know what to do with it, so he sent it out of play.
You wonder if this was the plan all along, just to sit off for a bit, save your energy until the end of the half, and then once Tufts has tired themselves out, then you put on the press, then you make them work for it. It certainly made Ontich a bit uncomfortable there.
If it's their strategy, it's a brilliant one.
Yeah, they've certainly had way more offensive plays in the last couple minutes, so.
Oshkar Daninas will come on. Taylor Feinberg going to come off, so Oshkar Daninas will go back as a center back. And Yanez will take that spot at the top of the diamond as a diagonal ball looking for Canfin. Werner couldn't quite corral it, but he's able to win a throw. Oskar Tanidas. And taken off of Gherkin. And going the other way. And Jumbo's definitely got away with one there. Ball on the turf, and eventually it comes through to Werner. Between the lines to Campbell, 2v1 now. Campbell cutting in, and a little too ambitious, but he kept it going. And that one will pop out. Yanez will collect.
It's a very strange sequence there, as Canfin had pulled from the number 9 position well wide, and so no one was in the middle. It was just Feigen and Campbell running in from his fullback position. Not the ideal situation when you have 4 or 5 Babson defenders to go up against.
And the Babson midfield starting to get a little bit gassed. Hands on knees at the throw. As the Jumbos just continue to whip the ball around their back line.
Gunn's now dropping into the back line, at least for build-up phase. Looking like a back 3 at the moment.
Well, I mean, look where Bargania and Campbell are playing. They're basically acting as wingers. Oskar Tanidas, no runner.
very European idea to have your 6 drop into your back line during build-up, but they were really pushing. I mean, obviously we saw the fullbacks pushing up very wide, but Max Clevio was also stepping up well into midfield.
Time and space now for Gherkin. Lays it off for Bargania. Feigen going to go wide. Show is an option for him. Bargania will use it as a decoy. Cuts around one, can't get around the second man, but a loose touch. And the Jumbos will bring the press. And that is a handball. Really unfortunate. Bargania did everything right, but he can't control gravity.
Yeah, I think they're really pushing up these wing backs, stretching the play. We'll see if the midfield gets a little bit more with that defense stretched out. Yeah, but they got to be careful on plays like this if Babson's going to counter or not.
And a just horrible giveaway to Ben Werner, who takes it and goes with it. Looks for a through ball. Looks like a hit off the thigh. Goldstein coming the other way with the Jumbos caught out a bit. Abe in between. Lovely turn there by Rothstein. Through ball. And on Ontich, the first real chance for Babson. And they're going to want that one back.
It's a great counterattack as Radigan did a great job just to poke that through, looking for Finch, but tried to be a bit too cute with the finish there, looking for the outside of the foot. That's never going to be Ontich when he's well positioned like that.
Yeah, Ontich on pace for the best season of a Tufts goalkeeper ever, with a 940 save percentage coming into the day. Jumbos with some triangle passing at the back, and eventually the Beavers have had enough. Clivio takes it, and he might run with it for a while. Gherkin, beautiful ball. Canfin is onside. Flag goes up, and I don't know about that one.
Frustrating one from Tufts' perspective. I think Canfin had just stepped one half step offside. He wasn't expecting it because Clevio had no right to get that ball out wide. I think it was to Feigen, who just sent it so quickly. Canfin wasn't expecting it. He was just hoping that he stayed onside the whole time.
A lot of people hitting the deck all at once, and in the end, it comes to the Beavers and the feet of Will Floyd. Kalishman, through ball, looking for the run. Bargania going to shepherd that one out. Or he would have, but over to take it was Rodstein, and he'll go out for a Jumbo's throw here on the near side. And a couple substitutions for the Jumbos. Ben Penske for James Gunn, and Henry Perkins into the game for Ethan Feigen.
This has been the story of the year, has been the attacking rotations for Tufts. Since Sean Traynor has graduated, they have really not locked down any consistent rotation on their front line. Only 5 players at all have started every single game this year. One of them is Mikey Brady, the other is, or in terms of attackers, Mikey Brady and Ethan Feigen, as we say, haven't had the most productive years until this past weekend.
Bargania tried to hit that on the volley. It did not work. Yanez came across and took it off him. Clivio will restart the offense with just under 10 minutes to go in the first half. A very lively first half if it doesn't show score on the scoreboard. Penske wide. Canfin able to deflect it, and that'll be a deep throw for the Beavers.
Yeah, I think this maybe, besides Brady, lack of offensive target is maybe why there's been so many different lineups and position changes throughout the season. So I think going into further into the season, they need to figure that out.
It's definitely something that Desitel keeps tinkering with, as if he's not quite satisfied with what he's seeing. Canfin with a gorgeous touch. Gherkin tries to keep it in and somehow does, splitting the wicket. Oscar Tanidas will reverse it back to Clivio. He's going to look to send a long diagonal. Werner on the run. It comes to him, touches it down, and taken off of him in the end by Cerezo. We're going end-to-end now on Bello. Campbell taken down. That's a free kick.
Yeah, those crosses from Clivio, they're usually pretty dangerous, so I think they're going to look for that way more.
And it was a great ball, and you could see that Werner just wasn't expecting it to get past the man. Just stumbled with it as soon as it came down. Couldn't react quick enough.
Danny Yanez to take this free kick. Now that he's in the game, as the Jumbos once again going to send up the tall boys. Whipped around, does not get past the first man, but that'll go out for a Jumbo's throw. And they can treat this as a set piece, but not before Will Nicholas comes into the game.
Will Nicholas has been working his way up the depth chart for the Jumbos on these wing slots. He got his first collegiate goal, a brilliant goal, against the NUMAC rivals for Babson, Emerson. And that was the opener in that game. He's looking for another opener here.
Yeah, and Werner, after that missed chance, his day quickly done, at least for the first half, as Bargana sets up for this set throw with all but him and Campbell in the box. To the top, shot from Giannis, just wide.
That long throw is definitely a weapon. I mean, that's crazy.
But how many times have we seen the Jumbos get a chance from second balls from set pieces? They always have that player sitting back behind. We saw Feinberg score one against Wesley, and we saw Liam Gherkin with a great volley from the edge of the box after a corner against Hamilton. That is something they've really done. As Jake mentioned, only scored one direct goal from a corner this year, but have really been efficient at mopping up those second chances.
Touch from Matias Gutierrez, who entered the game momentarily. He's going to take that throw quick, looking for the run of Radigan, but it's deflected right into the waiting arms of Antich. And a little bit of communication between Kyle Desitel and the referee about substitutions. Looks like he was not happy the way the Jumbos have been rushed, as Clivio just playing a little game with Radigan, trying to intercept that pass. Another long ball looking for Canfin. Cut out at the first man. And another throw, this one at midfield, and got to imagine Ben Brown might want to come take this.
Usually they would if they were looking for the counter-attack here, but now they're just going to, with Babson already settled back in their defensive formation, just going to leave him where he is in center defensive midfield.
Jumbos really seem to like what they have with Clivio as the distributor, but this time he's forced back to Antich.
Again, you just see Penske dropping deep, allowing these center backs to split wide, just trying to mess with the two-man press that Babson are bringing on.
And it works as it allows that ball up to Perkins, and for the 5th time in the first half, the Jumbos are offside.
I mean, that's just the mark of a well-drilled defensive team. If you're holding your line that consistently, that well, forcing that many offside calls, that is why this team have only conceded 5 goals.
And that's frustrating for Tufts. It's been an issue in the past with offsides, and I think this game it's going to get to them if they keep doing that. Just a couple more inches, it will be fine. 1v1 versus the goalkeeper, that will probably be their best shot.
Space there, and not able to do much with it was Donaldson. Way will whip a ball in. No one at the back post. That'll go all the way through, and Antich will collect. A little bit of space here for Canfin if they wanted to go quickly, but seemingly the game plan is that they're going to build from the back at all costs.
This has more or less been their game plan against most of their non-conference opponents, ranked or not.
Campbell. Back to Bijan. Antich.
Babson bringing the press now.
Beautiful ball, weighted perfectly, and Brown will lay it off for Campbell. That one cut out on the far side by Way. Has runners ahead of him, including Gutierrez, who had to get himself back onside, and it took him out of the play.
It's great work there by White. Just saw Nicholas was trying to hold his run too much, stepped in, really smart, and sent it forward. Eventually Radigan trying to run onto it, but smart work by Aktazani Das to make sure that Antich got there first.
Another diagonal for Nicholas from Clivio. This time he takes it in stride. A lot of contact. Nicholas stays with it. Through ball, just couldn't quite find Perkins. Ambitious from the freshman. Yanez pulling at the back of Donaldson. Opened wide here for Lloyd. He's going to switch it wide. Finch. And Bargania just comes across and ends that counter. Three minutes ago in the first half. Rosenfeld to take the throw. And no one at the near post. Little touch, and able to deal with it there was Yanez, as Callisman had a possible opportunity to cross that.
seem to be trying to fake the Jumbos out on these throw-ins. Here it is.
This one taken all the way through. Almost got to the man at the back post. Donaldson tried to stand it up. Rosenfeld with a through ball. And beautiful job by Campbell. Can Nicholas get to that ball? No, he can't. Beautiful intervention from Way, who whips it back. And a good job by Clivio to do enough.
Not sure what, honestly, Clivio got a bit tussled up with his own feet there. He tried to chest it down, lost his footing.
Quick corner. Stood up towards the back post and headed over the top there by Radigan.
Golden chance for Radigan. He will want that back. Just had the leap on Bargania. That's the player you want to be up against. Is they didn't have time to send Clivio on him or anyone like that. It was perfectly weighted towards that back post. Just couldn't get over it.
Another long ball. This one's more straight. Flag going to stay down for now as Camfin takes it in stride. Towards the back post. Ben Brown just wide.
Yeah, I think that is the way to unlock this game. Camfin is really being dangerous on this left-hand side. If they can switch it from the right or even the midfield driving, I think they're going to have a really good chance on goal.
And a little bit of a player down here after that. We're going to step aside momentarily while that player gets treatment. 1.5 minutes left in the first half. Welcome back here to Bello as Lyndon Way able to jog off the field, so that's a really good sign for everyone. Never want to see a player injured. There will have to be a substitution for him. We'll see who it is. It looks like it's going to be Patrick DeMasso. And you got to imagine after that, and the flurry of chances we've seen in the last 10 minutes, both these teams probably would be more than content to go to halftime at 0-0. Between the lines, Gaffigan gets taken down.
They're going quick here.
And Yanez says no. Coming across, he can make the ref count it out. And, well, Yanez is going to get carded for that.
Yanez already on 2 cards, I think, this year. It's not the player necessarily you'd expect to get all the cards, but that one, pretty blatant.
That one felt inevitable. The second he stepped in front of that, there was only one result that you were going to see there.
I think he sent a message, you know, if you're going to play it, I'm going to block in front of you. You're not going to play this quick.
I don't know the referee's name, but what I can tell you is that he's laughing at that action from Daniel Yanez there. Callisman now going to take this free kick. Clock is stopped with 1.6 minutes to go in the half. And Callisman not going to be particularly pleased with that free kick. Bargania comes across. Yanez gets taken out. Ball in the midfield. Bargania will collect here. And he gets taken down, and the Jumbos will have themselves a free kick and some extracurriculars. And it's going to be Babson's turn to get carded. Bargania down and in some pain. And some dialogue between him and the referee. And this game is getting physical and it's getting confrontational fast. Desatel seemingly wanting a card here. Does not look like one's coming, as he's harping on the referee for consistency, and you have to feel like he has a legitimate gripe.
Yeah, the complaint being that the free kick, or the ball was taken, Babson kicked the ball away before Tufts could take the free kick, which is essentially the same offense as Yanez getting in the way, making sure it couldn't be taken quickly. I'm sure Babson would argue that they kicked it away before they heard the whistle, but Desatel strongly disagrees.
Bargania coming out in some pain. And all sorts of problems here. Jumbos need to get someone in for him. They will with Alex Wall. All of this happening with 45 seconds left in the first half.
Should also be noted, James Flagg went down injured in the game against Wesleyan, so Wall has moved up in this fullback rotation.
And Wall will come right in and join the line of runners as Yanez has a free kick just inside the Babson half. In-swinger towards the back post. Up is Clivio, across and into the side netting.
And that's why you have Yanez just coming off the bench. If you can't have Gherkin on the set pieces, you have Yanez. He's going to deliver a peach like that. Clivio, such a dominant presence in the air. Got it so cleanly, but just couldn't get the accuracy from such a tight angle.
Gutierrez tried to switch the field. Ben Brown got a touch to it, but in the end it comes back to Gutierrez. His through ball will go all the way through, and Nikola Ontic not in any hurry whatsoever. That will take us to the half as we go to the halftime break. A very eventful first half, but nothing to show for it on the scoreboard. 0-0 after 1 here from Bella. Welcome back here to Bellow Field, moments away from the second half kickoff, and Jake, got to start with whatever the heck that was, the last 90 seconds of that first half.
Yeah, some chaos on both sides of the field. We saw, starting it off with a quick corner from the Beavers, taking a quick one, getting Jumbos off balance, finding, I believe that was Radigan on that back corner, and just unable to finish it. And the Jumbos got some good pressure. We saw Giannis pick up a yellow. We saw Barganian taken down, who was luckily entering the field yet again. Great sign for the Jumbos, but just chaos, really.
Yeah, and Kyle Zezatel's frustration with the refereeing did not very much stop during the halftime break, as he made his case to no avail. But you've got to imagine that the refereeing here is probably weighing on the Jumbos a little bit, especially the number of offsides calls they got. Just the amount of times they were half an inch from timing that run right and just couldn't quite get it done in that first half.
And that does start to discourage you. Like, if you keep getting called offsides as you run, you start to slow down a little bit, and maybe you don't get that edge on your defender. You don't get that really good break. And so while they don't have like a direct impact, aside from giving the ball to the other team, the psychological impact of being called offside several times, like Camfin has, like Perkins has, like Brady has, can really get in your head and make you not want to make those runs quite as much, which is really a detriment to this team because they have seen they work. They have gotten opportunities off of them, but if they're not making those runs, if they're not making them quite as well, will they be able to get them to get those points, get those opportunities?
And a little bit more aggressive of a starting lineup for this second half. Brady and Canfin for the Bows, as well as Feigen and Gherkin with the two holding mids like in the first half. And they start right away with Brady sending one down for Xavier Canfin to chase. And that'll be a Jumbo's throw deep in the Beavers' half.
Bargania already stepping up to take it. Essentially a corner kick for the Jumbos here.
Bargania switched back to this right side, just changing it up on Babson defense, making them think that extra minute more.
Him as well as Canfin have gone to the right side. Canfin shows short. Throw in towards the center of the box. Clivio got it on frame, but no one was there to redirect it past White.
And that's a really tough header to make. Essentially, he was looking toward the other side of the pitch, unable to get much direction on the ball when you're hitting it with the back of your head.
Bijan Askartanidas sends one, and Brady's going to go chase hard. And just sending that away is Cerezo. And the Jumbos definitely look the more aggressive team through the first minute and a half.
There was some pinball there between both sides as the Babson team got a ball up, got an attack, immediately hit back forward. Brady's running on it. Great, quick capitalization from the Jumbos.
Gherkin comes to collect the throw. Leaves it for Bargania, who will cut inside. Back to Gherkin. Taken down perfectly. Canfin now into the box. Stands it up towards the back post. Flicks back. Hand. Ref says no. Now Feigen with it. Toward the back post. Canfin with a loose touch will be able to keep it in play. Back towards the middle of the box and away. And now Abe will pick his head up with a little bit of time.
Jumbo's already staying onside better. There are several chances where the player was near the line, but managed to keep the flag down, and that's a great sign for the attack going forward.
Gherkin collects. Tries to turn a little too much and gave it away to Goldstein.
Turned in the wrong direction there. Had space in the middle, but turned right back onto the outside.
Beautiful ball from Bargania into Gherkin. Between the lines, Brady now. Laid off for Ashkar Tanidas, who will open up to Ethan Feigen, but cut out there by Lay. Or excuse me, cut out by Callisman, but taken off him by Bijan.
Some excellent finds from the Jumbos. Gherkin able to find a great ball to Brady in the middle alongside Brady, dropping back to Tanidas. A great attacking opportunity for the Jumbos.
Diagonal from Clivio. Canfin wide to collect. Two on him immediately. Little too short on that ball, but Bargania doesn't care. Somehow grabs it off the turf, not once but twice. Still going through ball, Brady. And a great slide tackle back to collect there. And here come the Beavers. Flying the other way is Yabolowski. Still with it. Tries to cut onto his left. It's going to pop free to Pierre. On his left shot, just wide of the goal. And they're going to say Antic got a touch to it.
Lightning quick counter there from the Beavers as Jablonowski hasn't had much to do so far in this game, but did well there, just forcing the Jumbos to deal with the pressure. Ball pops out to Pierre, gets the shot on goal. Antic happy that it was closer to that near post than Pierre would have wanted.
The Beavers really wish they got more out of that, to be honest. It's one of their first real strong clear-cut chances this game and unable to convert on it. Maybe they can do it from the corner here. Not choosing to go quick, though.
Modiano to take. Plays it on the ground. Free shot, and out to block is Clivio.
Lloyd had way too much space at the top of the box there. Not a single Jumbo picking him up, giving him essentially a free shot. Luckily, the Jumbo's defense able to step forward and essentially provide a wall in front of him, but still alarming signs for the Jumbos.
Neither team can be particularly happy with their defense through the first 2 minutes, and that's going to continue as the Jumbos give away a free kick about 25 yards out.
Xavier Campin unhappy with that one, as the Beavers grab the ball, wanting to go quick, but Gunn and Octozani Doss standing right in front of the ball there.
Yeah, and this is too close of a spot. The referee is going to make sure that 10 gets counted out here, with the Jumbos going to make an actual wall. And this is a spot where you probably don't have the angle to really cross a ball, so in all likelihood, this is going on Antic's net.
Great chance for the Beavers here to get on the board. Looks like Abe, and I believe that is Jablonowski standing over the ball.
Jablonowski and Abe, the lefty and the righty. Jablonowski, and sent that all the way across into Injin.
Shake of the head there. I guess as we said at the end of that second half, the end of the first half, these set piece opportunities are huge for Babson. When you have only scored 10 goals in 9 games, you just need some consistent way to create chances, and set pieces are as good a way as any. Not if you're going to take them like that, though.
Tell you what, that would have been really impressive if we were playing kickball. It's a great through ball looking for Brady down the middle. He touches it down, and Goldstein around to corral it with his head. Canfin keeps that one in, whipped across, and White corralled it before Cerezo almost ran into his goalkeeper. Chaos here at Bello.
It's hard to believe there's only been 6 minutes gone in this second half.
It has felt like a lot longer as both teams have really come out of the gate wanting to get something out of this game, wanting to put some pressure on. And a series of defensive mistakes really from each side have really opened up chances. So this game could see some fireworks as we get further into this half.
If you remember, at the start of the first half, we had 1 shot in the first 15 minutes. We are 6 minutes in now, and we've already had 4.
That kind of indicates how this game has really ramped up to a top 15 matchup.
And both of these teams have form for that. These are second half teams. They do score more in the second half. This happened in the Montclair State game when Babson and Montclair State each had 2 shots each in the first half. And then in the second half, they really came out to play.
Donaldson getting 2 goals in the 58th and 60th minute in that game. Really quick, showing how quickly a game can be turned on its head. Montclair State left in the dust at that point.
Callisman setting up for this one. Quickly taken. And nope, the referee going to make them retake it. And now they're going to set up to take the long one, it looks like. And in the end, it'll be Modiano to take. Another low ball. Does not get past the referee. And looks as if that's going to be a drop ball.
The thing is, normally when it goes off the referee, the ball is given to whoever team had possession. But I have no idea who had possession there. So I think that's going to go to the Jumbo's ball.
Jumbo.
Gunn hit the ball, but he wasn't going anywhere. But I think it's going to go to the Jumbos. And then it does. It's a relatively new rule in the rule book. The ball hits the referee. The referee is no longer considered part of the field. They're considered a object that
Great ball. Play. And down goes Jablonowski. And nothing in that, says the referee.
Yeah, they just were shoulder to shoulder there. Not enough contact there on Jablonowski to warrant a penalty kick. Right call from the referee there.
Going back to the drop ball. I think the answer to why the Jumbos got it is you really can't justify in that situation giving it to Babson in that spot.
Very true. When in doubt, the defense really should get the ball.
Bargania might have gotten away with putting that one on the brown. Comes to bailout Gunn and sends it into the Jumbo bench.
Babson putting some more pressure on this Jumbo side, forcing Gunn into a spot where he did not seem to be expecting a man on his back. And Bargania had to clear that away.
Way with a throw. And that's going to be a Jumbo throw. Bargania going to try and take this quickly while Babson's still arguing the call. But no one's showing for him. That one pops into the middle. Brady will come collect. Beautiful through ball for Feigen, who can't quite get on it. He'll grab it on the far corner. To the byline, Ethan Feigen. Denied there by Abe. Callisman now. Tries to stop on Feigen. They're fighting for it on the far sideline. And in the end, it pops free. I believe that's Liam Gherkin with it. It is. And all sorts of space for Clivio, who will dump it off there to Denby. And a whistle came from the referee right as Clivio hit a really good diagonal.
So there's a player down or hurt from Babson.
I actually don't think he's hurt. I think he has cramps.
I would still say that means he's hurt, but he is down with hopefully nothing too bad.
I mean, I don't know how you feel. Obviously, Jake, you're a referee, at least at the high school and lower levels, so you have a little more experience than I would about the decision to call a whistle for a non-head injury in that spot.
Yeah, my sense is if it is not really a attacking moment, which, I mean, he probably blew the whistle before Clivio sent the ball, is my sense is that he didn't see that ball incoming. He sees the ball as being passed between the defenders, sees a player go down with an injury. I think it's a fair call. Obviously, if it's a head injury, you stop it immediately. If it's a other injury like this one, if the ball is not in a attacking, if it's not in a dangerous moment for either side, I think calling it's the right call. Player safety is the number one priority as a referee, and really looking after that is your main job throughout the game.
It'll restart with another Jumbo drop ball as Callisman will come off to be replaced by Philip Finch.
Always good to see a player walking off. Ball's going to right back to Clivio in that corner spot, so maybe he can still send that diagonal ball to Campen. He's got some space over here.
He does, and Way needs to be aware of that because if they get the drop and Way is still giving him that much space, the Jumbos might be in.
You got to have questions there. So he's already seen essentially what the Jumbos want to do, so if he's allowed to have that opportunity, that would be some negligence.
And he's yelling at Finch in front of him to go deal with Canfin.
Jumbos choose to take it slower here.
They still have Canfin.
Really towing the line just in front of the referee here.
Babson forces the Jumbos back to their own half. Gunn back almost as a center back right now.
They're really playing the 5-back in possession here, or a 3-back with the wing-backs pushing forward. Allowing to deal with this two-man press, having the 3 defenders really allows them to have an extra man at all points, which, especially having Achazani Doss in the 8, who can really play as that pivot, it's a really interesting and I think effective technical change from the Jumbo's coaching staff.
Gunn will open up, has Feinberg to his right. Desitel encouraging this possession-oriented style, and it comes to Bargania. Lovely touch inside. And he'll mega defender to find Clivio.
A lot of flair from Matteo Bargania. Never fails to entertain us.
Canfin in acres of space on the near side. Feinberg instead reverses it back to Clivio. Denby will come collect. Inside Feigen, opens the shoulder. Still with space. I think that was a cross. It ended up bouncing right in front of White, as Oscar Tanidas couldn't quite get to it.
About 10 yards further back than Feigen's shot when he took space earlier, but this one not quite as dangerous as really the last one was. I'm not really sure, as you mentioned, whether that was a shot or not, but always good to have a sort of wayward ball in the box, because if the player doesn't know what the ball is meant to do. Goalkeeper doesn't either, and can cause issues at times. But a keeper of White's caliber isn't going to let something like that phase him.
Beautiful ball from Lloyd into Goldstein. Canfin kept that ball in, they say. And now the referee makes the right call.
Flag came up a bit late there, but it looks like it was all the way out of bounds.
I mean, you're standing, what, 6 inches from that, Jake? You could see that was out of bounds.
I don't know. Edge the full ball has to go out, and to be honest, I thought that might have been in.
I'm with you, Jake.
That's why I think the sideline ref saw it too. But another rule as a referee is you often judge what the players are doing. If the players think it's out, it's probably out. So
the players think that was a handball. So does the referee.
Pretty hard to miss that one.
And Lloyd not Lloyd. Finch has to be careful there because he was edging dangerously close to pulling a Danny Yanez.
Yeah, just Bargania chose not to kick it into him, which is really uncharacteristic, to be honest.
Feinberg scuffs that one back, but it'll end up finding Ontic anyway.
Jablonowski not choosing to go after that, which surprised, because he had it was a wayward ball back, bouncing back slowly. Ontic late to commit. Really could have been a good chance for the Beavers there, but Jablonowski just stood behind him and shook his head.
Clivio with a gorgeous ball that's going to pop free to Ethan Feigen. Feigen into the box. Around Abe, still with it. Back across to Brady on his right. Blocked with a diving stop. Second shot, and they're going to say that none of that matters because Feigen couldn't keep it in bounds.
Unfortunate there for the Jumbos, as that was a great chance that Feigen had there, managing to really keep the ball when he had no business keeping the ball. Twice there where he should not have had the ball, but unfortunately the ball dribbling just slightly out of bounds. Feigen unable to get the cross back in time.
It's taken a couple games for Feigen to find that fire again on that wing, and we know how tricky of a ball carrier he is to deal with. It took him a second to get into that this season, but we saw it on full display last weekend against Wesleyan, trying to replicate that here.
Gherkin gets it taken off of him relatively easily.
Referee going to play advantage there on the handball.
Modiano with it. Picks his head up, deflected, and it almost ended up on Ontic's net. Jumbo's fans eerily reminiscent of that Washington Elite game, but it will end up nothing more than a Babson corner.
Washington Elite game, the last time that the Jumbos have trailed. Babson trying to break that streak.
It's a crazy stat. It shows really how strong the Jumbos have been this season, really worthy of that #2 in the nation ranking on the United Soccer Coaches poll that came out just a couple hours ago. Moving up from #5 early in the season. Babson moved up from 20 to 12 as well, so both teams will be watched well tonight.
Outswinger. Ontic punches it away. And we'll do it again.
Looks like he got collided in by his own player, which chaos in the box, always challenging for a keeper, and he was really being pushed around there, but able to stand up to the test, get the ball, punch it out.
Way in some space, open to the top of the box. Inswinger does not get past the free. Shot from distance, just wide. What a hit there from Cerezo.
Unbelievable technique there from Marco Cerezo. He's such a familiar player for these Jumbos. He played all those years at Conn College, and he's not the player they necessarily expected to be such a danger from outside the box, but brilliant volley technique. Just got a bit too much swerve on it. Ontic, very happy to see that one drift just wide of his left post.
Certainly a scary moment. And in those corners, we saw Pierre there standing on top of Ontic as the ball is played in, making it really challenging for the Jumbo's keeper to react to the ball. It's something you sometimes see called a foul, but we've seen less and less recently.
Especially, we saw it in the Hamilton game, I believe, as Tufts, that was the Wesleyan game, where Tufts conceded a late corner. They ultimately won that game 4-1, but Wesleyan had been really causing them issues on those corners, and I think they certainly deserved at least one.
Oscar Tanidas, wide to Feigen, in all sorts of space on the left wing. Has 4 runners in the box. Still running Feigen. Cuts onto his right. Oscar Tanidas wide. Gherkin's offside.
Really unfortunate there for the Jumbos. They've had a few chances now where He could have gone a little quicker on that breakaway, in my opinion, though. Canfin choosing to find Dr. Sonny Doss in a slightly safer ball, but he had Gherkin streaking down the right. And had he played the grad student midfielder, it could have been an opportunity for the Jumbos.
I still like the idea to go to Feigen. I just think Feigen's got to get rid of that ball a little bit quicker. Gunn comes back to collect off the loose touch. Clivio played a little fast and loose, gets it taken off of him, and a push. Nothing in it, and the Jumbos escape there. Babson bench cannot believe it.
Clivio really is one of those defenders who really plays on the line, makes the referee have a lot of tough decisions. He's very physical, always causing problems for the attackers, and he really makes it a difficult decision. As you saw there, he had contact, but he will claim that was just shoulder-to-shoulder, incidental, and that Radigan went down easily.
The challenging thing to see is...
Good run there. Late challenge, but ball, they're going to say. Canfin comes back to collect. Everyone all sorts of out of position. Bargania going to press. And that'll be a Babson throw, then Bargania kicks out.
That was Radigan. That was Jablonowski looking for the penalty. Radigan's going to come in now, as will Donaldson. Finch coming out.
I think Gutierrez also slipped in there on the far side.
Pierre and Modiano also checking out for the Beavers.
Going back to that Clivio chance, the question really is, did he stick his arm out? Because if he extends the arm, he can really... There's a lot of calls for a pen, but from what I could tell, it looked like it was pure shoulder-to-shoulder.
Good through ball. Brady trying to get on the end of it. And that'll be a jumbo throw.
From what I could tell, that appeared to be shoulder-to-shoulder between Clivio and Jablonowski. But if Clivio extends the arm, if he gives a little bit more contact, then it's hard to deny a penalty kick there.
Well, I actually think they could have denied a penalty kick on the fact that I don't think that was in the box.
Tough to tell from this angle. The lines are dark blue, which blend in quite well with this green turf.
They do. Bargania backing all the way up to take this throw. Into the box. Bounces once, flicked on again, still bouncing, and sent over the frame. Could not see who got that shot off.
Denny Yana is ready to come in for the Jumbos, another dangerous player who we talked about a lot in that first half, and he'll be coming in for Gherkin, who has had some moments of brilliance but has not been able to have the impact that the most points player on the Jumbos would be hoping to have.
Rosenfeld also checking in for Babson.
And the Jumbos bringing up a little bit of a higher line, but no real heavy press. Forces the switch, which was horribly underhit. And that's going to stay in play, I believe. Mikey Brady runs it down. Still in play. And that'll end up being a jumbo corner.
And that's the fight. That's why Mikey Brady is still in the game, even if he hasn't been scoring bagfuls of late. He just gives you so much work rate up top, so much physicality. It makes the defenders really stay on edge, and it gets you opportunities like this.
Ethan Jett has not checked in, according to the jumbo bench. Referee telling him to come on, and this is the continuation of the sort of dispute we had in the first half. The referee going to come over to talk to Kyle Desatel. Desatel does not want the shorter jet in for this corner. And we'll see what the end-up result is of this discussion. And the Jumbo's going to win the argument, so Jet will stay. Got to imagine that means he's coming in for either Pretty or Canfin.
It's interesting because Canfin's one of the players back right now.
Oh, I think that probably means he's coming in for Canfin, and Canfin thought he was going to have to come out. Be shocked if they don't put Canfin in the box here.
I don't know. He does have a dangerous shot. We've seen him hit some pretty impressive shots earlier in the season, so he could hit it from out there.
Yanez and Feigen both around the corner flag. Yanez, in-swinger, on frame, headed down, and I think the Jumbos might have headed that out.
There's just so many players stacked up at that near post. It was impossible to tell who actually got in the way. It's just completely plugged dry. No way through.
It looked like it was gun there on the line, but the Jumbos, really, both teams have been playing their corners really close into the goal, having their team very tight, which it makes it harder to get a more powerful header, but when that's there, any deflection of the ball, any irregularity in the way the ball is played in can be really difficult for the keeper to react in that short amount of time.
Bargania across to take the throw. Jet did come in for Mikey Brady. That one hangs up in the October night, bouncing around. Canfin turns, shoots, deflects around, and it'll be sent out only as far as Yanez, who will deflect it back to Feigen. He'll turn and send a through ball.
A little ambitious there.
It'll bounce down, and the Jumbos will bring the press. Canfin to win it. Cuts onto his left. Into the box. Rolled across. And just cleared. Last man was Cerezo. And I think that's going to be a free kick. And I think Ethan Feigen knows it as well.
Yeah, not much protest there from the senior winger. But Xavier Campin doing an excellent job out on the right corner, faking two different balls across to cut onto the byline. Get a great ball across, just slightly in front of Octarzandi Das. Really great chance for the Jumbos there.
Demby gets turned by Gutierrez, who beats him to the byline. Gutierrez now with it. Demby gets back around and going to win a foul.
That's Campin. The one issue that you see when he's playing as a number 9, as he is now with Brady coming off, is he does like to pull wide very frequently, and if the Jumbos don't have someone coming into the central area to finish those balls he puts across, then he might as well not be there.
It's a very good point, Micah. Ethan Jett going to go help with the pressing part of his job. Wins it to Yanez. Bargania looks to switch the field. That one hangs for a while. And it'll go out for a jumbo throw.
Abe will head it right into the crowd, as I think Feigen wasn't ready for that, but able to adapt well to the soaring ball across the field from Mateo Bargania.
Jumbo's quick to restart play. Press now on Clivio. Gets it wide to Denby. Beavers caught out a little bit here. And Octarzandi Das sees it and is going to switch it for Ethan Jett. Jett keeps it in on the byline. Back inside. Yanez flicks it across. And cut out by Cerezo once again. Campin chests it down. Feigen now. Taken down. Free kick on the edge of the box.
Ball heading toward us here. Luckily misses our table.
I think it's difficult to overstate how perfect of a ball that was from Bijan Octarzandi Das. The weight on it, the backspin, just bounced just right so Ethan Jett could get onto it right before it went out of play. And now they get off a second opportunity here. Really dangerous set piece.
And got to imagine there's going to be a bit of a fight between the Jumbo Juniors about who gets to take this free kick from what can't be more than about 21 yards.
Yeah, we know they have players who can hit it. We know they have players who can get a really strong shot off of this. Can they do better than Babson, who had a very similar opportunity that Yablonowski put pretty far over the bar earlier in this half? So really a test for the Jumbos.
Danny Yanez has scored from this spot before. He looks like he wants it. Bargania on his left or Yanez on his right. It'll be Yanez. Up! Can't quite get it down.
Yanez going a little bit too high there, and I'm not sure if that would have beaten White even if it was a little bit lower. It was not far enough to the sides. As the senior goalkeeper from the Beavers is very challenging to beat.
But it really has not been Yanez's season so far in terms of getting shots past keepers or even on frame. As we say, he led the team coming into tonight with 9 shots on goal, but as we say, only one goal from open, or only one goal, and that was a penalty, so none from open play or set pieces.
Cerezo. Loose touch. Canfin again intercedes, but Octarzandi Das lost it, and a foul behind the play.
Both players slid in there. I think Guns was clean, but I don't think Campins was. Going to be a quick restart for the Beavers.
Crossed in. Shot deflected away there by Bargania. Yanez tried to spring Jet, but that one cut out really well by Rosenfeld. In between the lines, Bargania read it. And now he's going to look to go. He's taken out from behind, and Desautel's going to ask for a card.
That's where a point where really any contact to Bargania's back is going to result in a foul, because he had the chance. He was going away, running fast, and even just a small contact from the Beavers is going to result in a foul.
Bargania not once but twice going to try and move that ball up. Referee now watching him like a hawk. And out to challenge is Radigan. And in the end, Bargania just going to restart play to Taylor Feinberg.
There's a lot of build-up for not much there. Clevio going to take it forward, though.
He will, and then dumps it off to Gunn. Bargania in some space here and has Jet wide. But a miscommunication, that's going to go out for a Babson throw.
It's a good ball there from Bargania if the run was there, creating good space for Jet, but Jet was planted down, expecting a more of a quick 1-2 pass rather than a through ball.
Long throw. And Feinberg not taking any chances, sends it across the street.
I think if you have Campen in that position, he's always going to want to make that run, but Jet really one of the players who wants to get the ball 2 feet, take on his player one-on-one. It's not to say he can't run in behind, but that is his preferred style of play. Modus operandi, if you will.
Way looking for someone to show. In the end, Bargania wins the headed ball. Giannis keeps it in play, and a nice chest down by Campen. Tries to turn 1v3, gets taken down, and eventually it comes all the way through to Feinberg. Cerezo will restart play here for the Beavers with just over 16 to go. Clivio intercedes. Campen going to go chase on Goldstein. Yanez gets to the second ball and gets across his man. Feigen now. Into Yanez, loose touch. And Abe will pick his head up. Radigan. Inside now. And a beautiful switch there from Friedrich. Rosenfeld. Goes down. Ref says play on. And a dangerous ball to Cerezo. Babson able to kind of calm things down here. Gibson Campbell still at the touchline. Been there for about 5.5 minutes now.
We're nearing this final stretch of the game where we've seen so much action in those games the Beavers have played. So while we've had a bit of a lull in these last few minutes after a really exciting start to the half, don't be surprised if we see both teams really turn it up a notch as we enter that final 15 minutes.
Both these teams have been second half teams, and especially Babson has been a last 10-minute team.
But Babson's not immune to conceding in the last 10 minutes as well. That game against Gordon, a prime example of a draw that really shouldn't have been. And the Beavers will be wary of that because the Jumbos have had some late-minute heroics of their own, including a Xavier Campen winner against Williams, who have proved to be quite the giant topplers in the NESCAC this season, taking down Amherst earlier this year.
Gunn will send it forward. Campen once again chests it down. He's upset because they call handball. And I think he's making the right case that he did not chest it, it hit his shoulder. The problem was when it came down the second time, it caught his wrist. Goldstein will take space. As just an eerie quiet has drifted over Bello.
You have to say calm before the storm.
That is the way it feels.
There's a certain air of anxiety as both sides really don't want to let this game get away from them. As really both teams are among the top teams in the country, and while a loss wouldn't be a terrible look because of how the caliber of the opposition, neither team has lost so far this season, so neither side wants to start that tonight.
Yanez with runners. Switches it a little bit behind Feigen, but he's going to be able to pick his head up. Feigen with some fancy footwork. Cuts back. Around one, gets taken down, but never had the ball with him.
Gotta feel Ethan Feigen held on the ball for a little bit too long there. Not having many options to find, but when he holds on the ball for that long, it allows the rest of the defense to come by, and 3 men were on him by the end of that footwork.
Gorgeous ball from Feinberg. Jett will run onto it on the right side. Towards the byline now. Whipped across, hard and low. Off the chest of a Babson defender. Headed down to Yanez. On his left, switched beautifully wide to Denby. Into the box, flicked on. It'll come through to Jett. Barganya wants it, will get it.
He can hit this.
He might. Instead, he'll run all the way into the box. Barganya, head up. Shoots it across, and looks like it might have hit a hand. Referee not interested. Barganya still screaming about it. And it'll end up being a Babson throw.
That was a handball. From my angle, that looked entirely like a handball. He was on the ground, but the ball was stopped from rolling out from under him because it hit his arm, and that can't be.
Yeah, it's a tough call.
And that's tough because the AR, it's near him, but as an assistant referee, you never want to make the call that calls the penalty. That should be the center ref. But
center ref should have said, not in the ideal position to see that.
True, but the Jumbo's got to feel a little bit hard done there.
Well, they're pressing now. Barganya has been taken off for Gibson Campbell, who had been waiting to take him for about 10 minutes.
Making really the most of his last few minutes on the pitch.
Here is Campbell. And a great job by Gunn, just setting a pick to allow Campbell to get back to that ball. Babson all the way packed in, almost parking the bus. They do not want to concede. Time and space now for Feinberg. Stands one up. We'll see who gets on the end of it. It is a Beaver, but the second ball will be corralled by Feinberg, but given right back. Jett brings the press. Cerezo goes wide to Abe. In between the lines now. That is Fidrick. Jumbo's press seemingly running on fumes. Except for Bijan. Between the lines now. Lovely 1-2. That one played wide and sent out into the bleachers by Clivio.
And the Beavers send on an attacking line change, hoping to revitalize that attack. That is Jablonowski, Pierre, and Modiano checking in. And as we enter this final stretch of the game, expect to see some damage as the Jumbos send in some attacking reinforcements as well on the next play. Mikey Brady and Liam Gherkin.
Yeah, I think that gives you the answer. Neither of these teams are content with a draw. They want all 3 points.
And we'll love to see that. It's going to be a crazy last 12 minutes.
Switch right to Ethan Jett. Don't think that's what Abe had in mind. Jett's loose touch, but he cuts back inside and gives it away. Midrick gonna try and switch it. Cut out by Denby. Goldstein. And once again, Cerezo will control. Abe switches the field. Can Way corral it? Yes, he can. Picks his head up. Low and hard. Feinberg away.
I feel like you said Feinberg away a lot this game as he's been everywhere, the senior defender.
Denby there to keep that one in play and run onto it. And taken down. That'll be a free kick.
And what a touch there from Way out on the left side. Getting the ball in stride, allowing himself to take space, put a good ball across, but it's not going to make it past the senior captain of the Jumbos, Taylor Feinberg, who has, as mentioned, been able to step up and clear the ball so many times this half and really been a thorn in the side of that those crosses that the Beavers have been sending in.
You also have to say Jett and Campbell were so lax in closing down that space. He had so much time to pick out his cross. I think Feinberg will be thankful that it was so near to him.
It'll be Feigen and Yanez who came off for Brady and Gherkin. Feigen was very clearly out of gas. As the Jumbo's going to bring on a little bit of a press, but both teams clearly on their last legs.
Brady's going to settle more into that number 9 role, sending Camfin out wide, which, Micah, as you mentioned, Brady is a bit more of a target man than Camfin is. Camfin providing a bit more of the dynamo, the quick attacks. So they now have a man they can look to with the crosses into the box.
It also seems to be a formation change with 3 attackers now. Canfin on the left, Jet on the right, and Brady up the middle. 50-50, won by Babson. Finch trying to get a corner. Feinberg in some trouble right now. Loses it on the byline, and a Babson goal!
In the 80th minute, as we mentioned, a late goal for the visiting Beavers, who have yet to lose an away game in 12 straight games. They'll not be wanting to add to that tally tonight.
I hate to say it, Jake, but I think the commentator curse very much in effect here. So you called out Feinberg for how solid he's been, but massive lapse in concentration from the senior defender. Jablonovski just putting on the press. You always want to gamble as that attacker. He gambled and he won. Coughed up the ball from Feinberg. Antich, nothing he can do as the ball just rolled across him, and he's never going to miss from there.
And in another way, I'd called out Jablonovski earlier in this game for not hustling down on a moment where he could have pressed. In that case, he very much hustled down. Excellent play, sensing that Feinberg wasn't quite ready for it and able to pounce on it with a finisher's delight. Excellent placement. Not much Antich could do there.
Jumbo's going to make substitutions now. They know they have to go for it. Got 10 minutes to salvage something. It'll be a Jumbo throw.
Feigen not getting much rest as he's about to come
Neither
right
is
back
Yanez.
onto the pitch.
Campbell off to Gherkin. Bounce off his face, but he stays with it. Gherkin, 1v2. It'll pop free to Campbell. Inside to Jet. He gets it forward to Gunn. Between the lines. Bouncing around. Mikey Brady still with it. Still bouncing, and eventually White ends up on top of it. Brady ends up on the floor, and the Jumbos still see 0 on the scoreboard.
This is a huge test for the Jumbos. Their first time trailing this season, but they have only had one come from behind win in the last 2 years. They've just been so efficient at opening the scoring. This is not a position they're used to being in. They just need to make sure they're keeping their heads cool. But for Babson, this is all about locking up shop, making sure that you force those rash decisions from the Jumbo's attackers.
And in the last NESCAC match that the Beavers played, they scored a goal to take the lead in the 83rd minute against Amherst. But their NESCAC opposition got right back at them as Amherst scored just a few minutes later. So Babson not immune to those those last-minute equalizers. They've seen it a few times this season. So the Jumbos still have a lot to. They shouldn't write themselves off yet. They've got plenty of time to get back into this game.
Hard press now from the Jumbos since the goal. Jablonovski loses it there to Clivio, who's able to possess it back. Through ball, looking for the run of Canfin, who might be in behind here. One-on-one on Cerezo. Canfin on his right. Shoots it hard across, corner kick.
Cerezo, excellent defending there, forcing Canfin out to the right. Really closing down any option he had and then getting in front of the shot as well. Textbook defending from Cerezo.
Denby, Jet, and can't see who the third coming off is.
That looks like...
I think it's just 2.
Well,
3
3
men
came on.
Well, we've seen some substitution errors before. Hopefully they figured this one out. I might have missed someone.
I definitely think we did. Referee seems to be counting here.
I count 12 on the pitch.
Yeah, I do too. That one whipped in towards the back post. Headed away as far as Yanez. Jumbo's playing 12v11 right now. Back in. Oscar Tanidas got to it. Bouncing around, and a free kick for the Beavers.
And I believe the referee will now call for the 12th Jumbo to come off the pitch. I saw him thumbs up toward his assistant referee, who appears to count 12. Still no mention, though, of a 12th player coming off the pitch.
Now James Gunn will come off.
Jumbos were playing that entire segment 12v11.
Had the exact same thing happen against Conn College, and you have to say both of those times ended up with a set piece for the opposing team. But very thankful for all parties that no one scored in that scenario, because that would be a mess.
Could you imagine? Lovely turn there from Moriano. Babson looking to put this one away. Moriano not going to help with that.
You like the ingenuity from the Babson attacker, but a shot like that is not going to challenge Antich any day. But if he had gotten that on frame, he did have space. He did have a chance to hit it, but just unable to get his body around it, unable to wrap around the ball to get that onto the frame.
Jumbos restart play here. 6:45 to play on Bello. They need one to keep the unbeaten season alive. Werner to come in for Cable at the next whistle. Through ball looking for Brady. Bouncing around. Second ball out. And Gherkin fighting for it. Instead it'll come here to Finch.
Another excellent defensive play from Cerezo, who has been immense on that defensive line. We talked about Goldstein a lot in the first half. This second half has been the Cerezo show. He's been phenomenal for the Beavers.
Clivio sends another long ball up in the diagonal. Lovely touch from Gherkin inside. Brady got to the second ball and got a lot of man. He's going to get a card. The question is what color? It's yellow.
Sigh of relief there for the Jumbos, as that was a studs-up tackle. Came out 2 feet. I personally don't think it was a red. I think he got more ball and player. It wasn't dangerous play, but definitely Brady on the cusp of a red there. Lucky to come off with that yellow.
Jumbo's actually a little bit fortunate there because it was a card. It'll stop the clock.
They need those final 5 minutes and 50 seconds to go in their favor.
Offside on the Beavers. Werner to check in for Campbell at the next whistle. And Coach John Anderson screaming at Modiano, who had taken that shot.
Believe it or not, that was the first offside the Beavers have had all night. The Jumbos have faced plenty, but strange that comes after they've taken the lead.
That one spun back. Oscar Tanidas will control.
Coach Desatel showing the confidence he has in the first year. Will Nicholas sending him out in the last 5 minutes to make a hopefully game-changing play.
Him and Werner in, Campbell out. We'll see who else comes out.
Brady coming out. Presumably Coach Desatel unhappy with the yellow card tackle he made, possibly wanting to send in a more tricky player in his place.
Gherkin lays it off for BAD. He'll play Yanez.
Clivio is playing as another forward at this point.
Do the Jumbos even have a defender?
Octarzani Das playing as the sole defender, as Feinberg and Clivio have both gotten up to the edge of the 18-yard box.
Jumbos playing in a 1-2-6.
It's double or quits time.
Oscar Tanidas with a dangerous touch. Clivio back to Corral. Into Will Nicholas. He'll play one down the line for Bargania. Cerezo has to deal with it. It'll be a Jumbo's throw. Bargania will take, and everyone's coming up.
Octarzani Das, the only Jumbo that's not running toward the 18-yard box at this point.
Bargania. 2 out on him. Lays it off to Feigen. Whipped in towards the near post. Bouncing around. Second ball out. Yanez will control. One on hard. He'll play it down the line to Werner. Werner 1v2. Crosses it in. Bounced on White, who comes off his line.
White, for all the pressure the Jumbos have had, has not had that much pressure on him in this half. I believe that is only his second save of the half. And the Jumbos will need to get several more on him, several more chances on the goal if they want to get through this game without dropping their first loss this season.
Jumbo throw after a poor punt from White. Gherkin quickly down the line to Werner. He flicks it on. It'll be a Jumbo throw deep, and Bargania will come across to take. Or he will. Yeah, he will now. Clock continues to tick. It'll go under 3.
I think the biggest shock from Kyle Desatel right now is he has not sent Ben Brown on the pitch.
I agree with that, Micah. Throw into the near post. Bouncing around. Out as far as Feigen.
The entire Beavers team in their defensive third at this point, wanting to escape this match with all 3 points.
Canfin able to keep that in. It'll be sent out for yet another Jumbo throw. Bargania sprinting across to the far side. He's not going to get there as it's quickly into Feigen. Wide to Canfin, who gets to the byline. Canfin across. Out for a corner. 2.5 to go.
Canfin is pulled up on that play as he tried to get that one in on his weaker left foot. Looks to be walking it off.
They have Feigen short. Does Gherkin. Looks like he wants to take this one.
2:15 left. Crunch time for the Jumbos.
Towards the back post. On frame, punched away by White. Giannis at the top of the box. Shot blocked. An outstretched block there from Yablowski. Ball sent back. It'll pop free to Yanez. He'll take it down. Lay it off for Bijan as we dip under 2. Diagonal ball looking for Feigen. It'll pop to Bargania. Whipped across. On frame, and that'll be another Jumbo corner.
Hold your breath for the rest of this game. This is going to go down to the wire. It's going to be intense.
Everyone back for the Beavers. Everyone inside the 18 with the exception of Yanez, who's about 2 yards outside of it.
On touch at half field. At what point does he come forward too?
Next one. Gherkin to whip this in. On frame. And in! On a miracle goal here in Medford!
Xavier Camphon coming up huge for the Jumbos. Massive play. Wow, Jumbos taking a incredible goal tied up, and immediately Gunn and Denby coming back on for the Jumbos as they hope to maintain this draw. Wow.
A season of destiny and unbeaten, not going away without a fight.
Only 19 teams remain undefeated in the country. Tufts doing their best to keep among those ranks.
And the Babson Beavers yet again gave up a last-minute equalizer. That is such a frustrating thing for the Beavers as they've gone throughout several points this season where they thought they had the win, but a miracle goal from the Jumbos, from Xavier Camphon, to bring themselves from the brink of their first loss of the season into a draw. Wow.
77 seconds left. Suddenly the two teams are switching roles. Babson looking for something. Jumbo's looking to just hold at 1-1. That one will help significantly in that goal. Into the corner it goes. Ball whipped back across. Bargania up to deal with it. Under 60 we go. Abe lays it off. Bargania with a great slide tackle. Feigen to Camphon now. Back to Feigen, who turns. Surely he can't do it again. Gherkin ahead. The Jumbos are running now in transition. Gunn with it, 30 seconds to go as that one just stood up down the line, and it looks as if the Jumbo is more than content with a point. Gunn takes it down, sends it back. Way will send it down the line. Feigen back. Feinberg gets it out. Denby now going to fight for it on the sideline, and it will be a Jumbo throw, and that will do it. Kyle Desatel more than happy to walk across and shake hands with John Anderson. A miracle in Medford, and the Jumbo's unbeaten season continues.
What a game. I think that was a fitting conclusion to this game. I don't think either team really deserved to win this one. It was back and forth, tight game, but Xavier Camphon again with heroics for the Jumbos, scoring an incredible goal to get the win over Williams, and now a header goal off the corner kick to win the draw for the Jumbos.
Yeah, just an amazing, amazing game. Yeah, just can't really put into words the game, but Micah, your closing thoughts.
I think it's a really interesting one given that both teams came into this undefeated. Both teams came into this wanting to keep that record going. And if you're Tufts, you feel like you've just won a game. Babson, you feel like you've just lost it, even though on the record, this will look like a pretty decent result for both teams with regard to the voters. It's going to be a tough one to take for the Babson Beavers.
We're going to step aside momentarily. When we come back, even though it's a draw, we're going to go grab an interview with the late game hero, Xavier Camphon. send. Welcome back here to Bellow Field. It's been quite an adventure, but unfortunately we do have to say so long for the night. Love to thank all the other members of my crew, Zachary Miller directing, Leah up top on the cam. Antu, with her first debut on the mic, did a phenomenal job. Alongside me for this one, as always, amazing work from Micah Baum and Jake Flossie. For all of you at home, thank you for tuning in for this miracle of a game here in Medford. I've been Riley Daniel. You've been watching JumboCast, and as always, stay home safely.